welcome to round 2 of the Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores. We're here at Canberra, the nation's capital, at this tight and technical track just outside the city centre. I'm Rihanna Crean, thanks for joining us. And as always, alongside me, the 11 times Australian motocross champion, Lee Hogan. Lee, last time, the first round of the season at Wonthaggi, rain, hail, wind, we had it all. What was your takeout?
Well, aside from the weather, from a telecast and a racing point of view, it was a fairy tale start. My top 3, I've got to say, I had such a fantastic time there. I've got to say my favourite moment of the day was Regan Duffy's Moto 2. It was exceptional. I think that's going to go down in history as one of the all-time greats. My second favourite, I'm going to say Kyle Webster and how he dominated MX2, winning both motos very easily, I must say. And also, I'm going to say my top 3, a young gun, just a 13-year-old kid by the name of Caden Minier, and what he did, performed exceptionally well in the MX3 class. So they were my highlights, I'm going to say.
We've been greeted by beautiful conditions here at Canberra, but very different track conditions. What can we expect?
Well, polar opposite, isn't it, really? We've got nice, sunny, postcard conditions here, but the track is also polar opposite to what we had at the first round. It's hard pack, but they've done so much preparation with the track, with ripping and watering. The lines that are forming here are exceptional, and they've got so many ruts to choose from. So to find an athlete that goes good at round 1 and round 2, you've got to be well-rounded. So looking forward to seeing how this picture plays out.
Motocross track is always changing, and there's some key ingredients that you need to have on a bike like this to be able to handle the changing condition. One thing you will notice on a bike like this is the huge amount of suspension. You have massive jumps, big braking bumps, the track gets so rough, you really need to have your suspension dialed in to be able to handle these conditions. The riders themselves can change them on the day with the clickers and even internals, but if you don't have that set right, it is going to make the day very, very hard to get around. The engine on these things, 450 cc's, pushes out 60 plus horsepower. That is huge amounts of power when you compare it to the weight of the bike. That is under 100 kgs. Some of the race bikes even lighter. So you do your power to weight ratio, and this thing is very, very quick off the line. With a huge amount of power in these bikes, if you don't have suspension working the best of its ability, you simply can't get that power transferred to the ground, and you won't be able to do a fast race at all.
And that's a great shot there. Have a look at this. Ryder Kingsford, Blake Fox right next to the box. Then there's Ty Keane, Connor Towell. Yep, Benny Novak, Campbell Williams. Yep. There's a stack of Hondas there as well that they're going to try and push out fast. In amongst that was the KTM. So all of the fast riders stacked together in the middle of the start.
And let's not forget, right next to them, 222 Rory Fairbrother. He was our whole shot getter in race number 1 of the MX3 class. So let's see, he's actually in a very, very good position to swoop in. It's going to take a good start from Blake Fox out that wide. And also, let's not forget about Ryder Kingsford. He's got a good spot right next to what we call the dog box, so he doesn't have anyone next to his left elbow. 5-second board is up. Watch closely in that starting gate as it's dropped. We are going to be off and running here for MX3 Moto 2, brought to you by Maxxis. Ryder Kingsford, what a jump out of the gate. He's drifted a little bit wide and that bike stepped sideways and he's been passed by 2 riders up the inside.
Liam Jackson
Liam
Jackson was off track there. I did see that one, but there is all of our big hitters are up the front there. Benny Novak in second place there. As we just look back, I see Hickson McGuinness a little bit further back there, and the rest of the riders just making their way through.
All right, but let's pick these riders up. Our race leader.
Is that Blake Fox has gone down?
Fox has gone down. This is not the time of the race when you want to go down. Look at the amount of riders that have gone past him, and that was with one of the quickest recoveries that I've ever seen.
Connor Towell is in the lead.
Yeah, well, hey, he had a great start in the first race and went down and went straight to the back of the pack. So Connor is known to be exceptionally fast. Bikes are stepping out sideways here. I'll continue with that. Connor's exceptionally fast, but from time to time has been known to have the odd occasional crash here or there. So I believe we've just been given the word. The Matrix Concepts Whole Shot Award has gone to Ryder Kingsford. That was a nice, clear little whole shot. However, he did manage to drift a little wide and got relegated back a little bit.
Well, it's strange to be you know, classified as the whole shot, and then to be sitting where he is, I expected him just to almost run away with it from the position he was in. Sitting back there in third place at the moment, just battling it out with Novak. Yeah, so this is a good little battle heating up this early in the race. There is Blake Fox around the outside, so he is a long way back. He is outside the top 10. He's got a lot of work ahead of him.
And on a track like this, with the amount of water that's gone down during the lunch break, you can really find yourself in a predicament where you're fighting the bike in the early stages of the race. The last time these guys rode on the track, it was beautiful and tacky, and now it's going to be exceptionally slippery. So you have to approach this the way that you're riding this track with a completely different mindset. And you know what can happen so easily when it's this wet? You get arm pumped straight away. You're not comfortable, you start to fight the bike. Not quite sure what's happened to Benny Novak here, but he was trying to make a pass for the lead, and he's dropped back a little bit now. So we've got
mistake there by Benny Novak. That's what's happened to him, and it's being a common thing in the start of this one. Just those small mistakes, and you're right. When you make the mistakes, you tighten up, and you just don't find that groove, do you? And then it really just snowballs from there. Right now, that's what's happened to Benny Novak. He really needs to just settle down, take a breath, and then get back into it.
Well, Danny, before the drop of the gate, I made quick mention of what Ryder Kingsford needs to do after that unfortunate first moto. He needs to try to come out and get the win and beat Blake Fox. Now, he's in second place behind Connor Towell. All things being equal, and knowing the rider that Ryder Kingsford is, he's going to string together some good laps, and without too much time under his belt, I believe he'll find his way into the lead, and this is exactly what we saw at Wonthaggi. He stretched out, managed to get himself a win in the second moto. Now, we're going to have to wait and see where Blake Fox finishes in this one and how far he can come through, because at the moment, he's back in 7th.
Yeah, 7th place already, so he has passed a lot of riders already. You see him on the outside here, he likes this line, right around the outside of Collins right there.
He's just passing riders as he pleases.
Yeah, right now he is in the groove. So Novak is next on his list. It looks like he could have that pass made right here. As they look in the background there is a tabletop, and indeed he did make the pass there going into that turn. So our race leader is still Towell in front of Kingsford, and then back to Mather. So another good ride for Mather.
Yeah, Jack Mather is actually stringing together a really good little race here, and he's starting to put some pressure on Ryder Kingsford. Now, I know Jack is exceptionally comfortable and loves the wet, slippery conditions. He loves mud, and that's what we're seeing right here. Blake Fox, Benny Novak in 5th place. Then Caden Minier, Hunter Collins has fallen back a few spots. Seth Birchall, Connor Rosandich. We've got Ryan Alexander rounding out the top 10. Let's take a quick opportunity to go down to Rihanna.
Guys, I've got Tom Taparis, 2-time Australian Supersport champion, and you actually used to ride bikes at this very circuit.
Yeah, Rihanna, yeah, it's great to be out here at Oz ProMX. I grew up racing here at ACT MCC, so it's great to come back and see the Nationals here, and yeah, watching the local guy, Ryder Kingsford, who's from Goulburn, also out here leading the race.
Great to have you here, great to be here in the mechanics area. It's a very different vibe than Superbikes.
Yeah, it's definitely a different vibe, but it's good to come back like I remember it. Yeah, it's super good to see the level here in Australia, and these guys are top, basically as good as they can get in the world, so great to see it out here.
Enjoy, Tom.
Thank you.
Things about to get heated up the front here as we see 1, 2 and 3. Last lap around, Blake Fox with a complete second faster than anyone else on the track. 2 seconds faster than our lead rider on that last lap. So we are seeing this speed coming to light right now for Blake Fox. The 25 up the inside. He's looking for a different line on Kingsford. Can he make the pass here? It's pretty early, but he has got the momentum behind him.
Yeah, he's riding exceptionally well, and I think what we're seeing with Blake Fox here, I don't think it's going to be too long until he makes his way towards the lead. He's up there right next to Ryder Kingsford. Not only is he having a good day and gelling with the track, but in these slippery conditions, that extra body weight and leverage, so he's a lot taller. Look at the size of him. He's a big kid. There we see the pass made by Ryder Kingsford. He's just too hungry. He wants to make his way through. I don't think it's going to be too long until we see Blake Fox doing the same, because that's where the battle's at, between Ryder Kingsford and Blake Fox.
Oh, one rider down now.
Is that, Caden Minier? I'm hoping not. We can't see a number, but I know those jersey prints there, and it's a factory KTM rider. It's number 66, Caden Minier it is. And he doesn't,
that's unfortunate.
That kid is one of the toughest kids. 664, sorry, we're being given, Yeah,
664
664, Hunter Collins.
Oh, that's unfortunate. He was riding so well. You could see the urgency from Kingsford, didn't you? Trying to get past into the lead to make sure that he could start to check out. Blake Fox also was right there as well to take advantage of it. And our scoring has actually got Fox in the lead. So we're just waiting to pick up these the visuals as they come back around. Or we'll check out this replay right now. Oh, that is a big moment and a
That's just a moment
one.
that's happened from the wet conditions there. It just stepped out sideways and has just peeled him out down the track. He's in great hands with the race safe crew. He's up on his feet. That's sensational news and great to see. The good kid, Hunter Collins from New South Wales. All right, there we go, our race leader. Blake Fox has made his way up past Ryder Kingsford and he's stretched himself out to, I'm going to say a substantial lead, but enough to the point of where you can pick and choose your own lines. You're not forced to cover yourself so you're not getting punted up the inside from a rider. However, Ryder Kingsford,
I think he's learning.
He's picking up some lines. He's a quick learner, I'll tell you.
One important thing when you do get past like this, you really need to throw that that hook in like you've mentioned before, Lee, and just pick up on those lines that you may not have seen because you've been out there too busy railing around yourself and not looking for those alternative lines. And right there, whilst Blake Fox was pulling its hair off, we can see Kingsford has really
the
pushed
corner prior to that. It was a right-hander. The mountain shade right-hand turn.
Fox doesn't know he's there.
Doesn't understand. He doesn't realise he's going to take him by surprise. Now, I'm seeing replays of what Alex Larwood did to Blake Fox at Gilman National Junior Championships a few years ago. Now, is this rider Kingsford that has just picked up a couple of new lines, or is Blake Fox starting to pump up a bit from a bit of pressure coming from behind?
Yeah, for sure. There's he has slowed down by the looks of it. To have Ryder Kingsford come in so quickly on him like that, it just didn't really look like he was pushing it, or did it, Fox? It almost looked like he had no idea that second place was right on his back wheel. But he's answered it a little bit now. He's picked up the pace. The one thing, though, that I've noticed with Fox is that he does look pretty patient around there. He didn't, you know, take any risks while he was coming up in any of those riders that he was passing. Made sure that he took his time. And maybe right now what we're seeing mid-race is that he's just regrouping. Oh, Kingsford. Maybe that's why Fox is just, you know, taking his time and making sure that he's landing everything he needs to. There's still these wet, slippery conditions out there in some of the spots, and we, looking at it on the TV, just can't appreciate how slippery some of these areas might be. Well,
another point to mention, I believe, is the track that we were seeing at the start of this race that was very, very wet and slippery. It was hard packed with a fresh layer of water put on top, would well and truly play into a bigger, heavier rider's hands with Blake Fox. Every single lap that ticks by, the track's starting to come back into the favour of Ryder Kingsford. If he's going to get some good lines and he's going to be able to keep that traction on the ground, it's going to start to play into his favour. And that benefit that Blake Fox had in the early stages of the race for being bigger and heavier is going to start to lose that.
As they make their way through a couple of the left riders at the moment, Blake Fox has still got a lot of work ahead of him. 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes left in this race, plus one lap. Still plenty of time for anything to eventuate out of this one. It certainly is not over just yet. Kingsford's still sitting in there pretty strong. Whether he can continue to push it to the point where he's going to be able to get up there and challenge for the lead again is yet to be seen, but they are positioned well for this. 22, Towel still sits there in third place, and right behind him is Novak, who's right on that fourth place, trying to make through to third. As you can see just here in the shot, there is Novak on the 70 machine, right in behind 22. So this is becoming a good little battle itself as we head down towards this big right-hand sweeper. And we're seeing it a lot, Lee, that we've got very distinctive two different lines out of all the riders.
Now, that's correct, Hanny. Also, I just wanted to quickly make mention, Blake Fox obviously is in the lead at the moment. However, he doesn't need to win this race to win the overall. So Ryder Kingsford in second place. We mentioned earlier he had a couple of mishaps, one crash and a major mishap on top of that in Moto 1, which meant that he only finished 5th in that first race. So Of course, Blake Fox doesn't need to win this race to win overall. However, I dare say he would be very stoked with a clean sweep going 1-1.
There is Blake Fox still in the lead, but he is starting to deal with some lapped riders as well. This may play into it before we have finished on this race. Kingsford again can smell the exhaust as they go over the finish line. Will this spark up a late race charge by him? And he is getting to the tail end of this moto. And maybe he's just gone through the centre part of this race, reserving just a little bit of energy. Still a decent length race for these younger riders to go through and try and build themselves up before they move into the pro class. But yeah, a big effort right here by Kingsford to try and close back in on the back wheel of Fox. And this is an area.
Great line.
Yeah,
there.
this is an area that he's been very good.
And also, you've got to remember that inside line that Blake Fox just went through, not only did he lose about a full second, or at least 3/4 of a second right there, he went through a deep rut that had a hook in it and 2 bumps. Ryder Kingsford railed the outside on a smooth track that looked like a speedway track. So look at the energy you've saved. That's one part of the track right there that Blake Fox needs to pick up on. Some very intelligent lines we're seeing from the smaller stature of Ryder Kingsford, much smaller rider.
Well, Kingsford has the red plate on his bike. That signifies that he won round 1 and is the championship leader at this present point in time. Before we get through these races today, that may change over to Blake Fox for the red plate by the end of this one. But if Kingsford can do anything about it, he is going to try very hard to make that pass, keep himself in the challenge for this championship. And a big mistake though.
That left-handed, the Bell left-handed corner has got a deep rut in there, and there was a lap rider coming through that had a bit of a mishap and almost caused a little bit of grief to Ryder Kingsford.
2 laps to go now for these riders as we see our time ticking down, 43, 42 seconds. They will receive the last lap board the next time around as they go through the Penrite turn just here, and then back up over this small tabletop where we saw a couple of riders have some problems earlier on. And we enter that good part of the track for Kingsford now. Blake Fox is starting to get onto the back wheel of a couple of lapped riders in an area that he's generally a little bit slower and actually rides a similar line to them. So will this hold him up at all, and will that allow Kingsford to get back in there?
A little mistake from Ryder Kingsford on his favourite part of the track, shall we say. Still managed to reel in a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. Blake Fox really has kept a cool head on his shoulders in this Moto 2 of the Maxxis tyres MX3 category. He's had to come from a long way back, methodically picked his way through the field on a treacherously slippery track.
Oh, unfortunate there.
Wow, just throwing pit balls at it, just throwing all kinds of stuff at him, trying to... Wow.
Kingsford is really trying hard to make it up to that lead position. As we get close to the last lap board now, there's only a couple more turns in this one before they'll receive that board. And that signifies that we are almost done with this race. That bike still skipping around underneath Kingsford. The lap rider looks over and sees that he is about to be lapped, so hopefully we don't see any kind of challenge. Very well done by that lap rider, so good move by him, but it's only one more lap now for Blake Fox before he potentially, and looking like, greeting that checkered flag in first place.
What a dominant victory it will be, going 1-1, a clean sweep. That's the best way to do it, but I can't give enough props. You've got to remember, Ryder Kingsford's 2 years younger than Blake Fox. That's how incredible job he's doing back there. The factory Yamaha Junior Development Team rider, and we'll have to wait till we get confirmation with points. He very well may lose. Oh no, he certainly will lose that red plate to Blake Fox if positions stay the way that they are at the moment. But you mentioned just a moment ago, Hammy, a little bit of a swap side to side from Ryder Kingsford entering into a corner through braking bumps, just charging extra hard. And that's what we saw sent him going side to side and over the handlebars in Moto 1. He is not afraid to let it all hang out.
Tail end of this race right now. Blake Fox controlled it from the very start. He's done nothing wrong. Well, sorry, no, he had to work for it, I should say, sorry. from the start, but then at an early stage in this race, he has taken control and hasn't really looked back either, being very patient with his moves and his passes, looked for the best lines, and right now he's going to put that machine into the top step if he can hold out for just a couple more turns.
Well, he can't afford to make any major mistakes. It's still only, you know, a couple of seconds gap back to Ryder Kingsford. So the pressure is on. You've got to give credit to Ryder for keeping that pressure on as he makes his way through the 100% corner, around for the final time, and checkered flag and a dominant double victory here in Canberra for round 2 of the Penrite ProMX Championships, brought to you by AMX Superstores. What a win. You can't do any better than that. Maximum points will take the red plate, and he must be over the moon with that.
Any doubts that he had after round 1 have all been answered for himself. He's always known that he's going to be a big force to be reckoned with in this class, but after the first round, I'm sure he went back scratching his head just a little bit, wondering what he needed to do different. But today, it all belongs to him, and I'm sure he's going to go away from this one very confident before we go into round 3.
Yeah, absolutely, Danny Ham. Fantastic job from Blake Fox on the gas factory-supported machine. Ryder Kingsford back there in second place, doing a sensational job. Benny Novak, very impressed with him and how he's been riding back there in third place. And Connor Towell has managed to stay up there in the top 4. What an absolutely incredible job for him. That's a standout ride, and I believe a career highlight for Connor Towell to finish top 4 in this field. Still a young junior. An exceptional job. Seth Birchall rounding out the top 5. Let's have a quick look, Danny Ham, at the results for the MX3 Moto 2, brought to you by Maxxis tyres.
Blake Fox, of course, takes the win. Ryder Kingsford, Benny Novak, Connor Towell, Seth Birchall with another good ride, gets there in 5th place. Caden Minia, Ryan Alexander, Jack Mather after a great performance at the start, Campbell Williams and Ty Keenan round out the top 10.
All right, guys, it's time to head down to Rihanna, who's with our place getters.
Congratulations to our Maxxis MX3 podium place getters taking out third place in the Moto 2. We've got Ben Novak on the Honda machine. Ben, just talk us through how the conditions were out there.
It was pretty, they watered it before the race and it was really, really slippery at the start. It took a while to find my groove, but we finished strong.
Congratulations to Ben Novak. He's been on the podium in both motos today, coming in second place. Ryder Kingsford just getting his cap on and getting himself sorted. Ryder, it's been a really up and down day for you, but great job to finish on the podium.
Yeah, in the first moto, I got off to a good start, but just made way too many mistakes and found myself on the ground a fair few times more than I wanted to. So, but then second race came around, I just rode my own race, rode smooth and came in second. So yeah, it was a good day.
Congratulations on a strong finish and taking out the second moto. He's gone back-to-back today. Congratulations to Blake Fox on the gas. Awesome job today.
Yeah, thanks heaps. Got away to a way better start that race. I think I was in the top 5 somewhere. And just went to make a silly decision at the start and made a little crash down the back, which put me back a bit. But lucky enough, I was still close enough to push through and get to the lead. Once I got there, I ran out a bit of a puff, a little bit of arm pump, and Ryder was on my butt the whole race. So it was, it was good. Not out front by yourself. So it was good to have a bit of battles from the boys. And yeah, again, massive thanks to the whole team at Gas Australia, MotorX, Pirelli tyres, Thor MX, Spike Goggles, Chris Wood Performance, and everyone else. So yeah, thank you.
I think you nailed it there. Congratulations to Blake Fox and our 3 podium place getters, Ryder Kingsford in second and Ben Novak in third.
Well, fantastic job from our podium place getters there for the Maxxis tyres MX3. Let's take a quick look here at our points. Blake Fox on 87 points. And we've got Ryder Kingsford 85, so very close at the top of the table there. Benny Novak, Kobe Drew and Caden Minia rounding out the top 5. Ladies and gentlemen, don't you go anywhere, because when we come back, Moto 2 of the Pirelli MX2 class. Stick around.
The Pirelli MX2 class is the official stepping stone into the professional classes for the Pro MX Championship. Riders as young as 15 can compete on both 2-stroke and 4-stroke machines. It's the perfect platform for these young riders to forge a career in this sport. Let's meet some of the stars.
I'm Nathan Crawford, number 199, and I ride for Serco Yamaha. This year, I'm here to win the MX2 Championship.
I'm Dylan Wills, number 64, and I ride on the race line Husqvarna. My biggest competitor this year is whoever's leading the championship.
I'm Jay Wilson, number 6, and I ride for the Yamaha racing team. This year, I'm going for the championship.
I'm Chandler Burns, number 24, and I race for the Davey Motorsports TuneTech support team. This year, I want to get some top 10s and get my name up there in the Australian motocross scene.
I'm Hugh McKay from Tasmania, bike number 46, supported by Ride More Australia. This year, I'm chasing a top 5 in the MX2 Championship.
I'm Levi Rogers, number 34, and I ride for Yamaha Racing. This year, I'm going for top 10.
I'm Alex Larwood, bike number 5, and I ride for the WR Bulk Nutrient Trace team. My biggest competitor this year is Kyle Webster.
I'm Jesse Dobson, number 14, and I ride for the Circo Yamaha team. This year, my goal is to be the Australian MX2 champion. My biggest competitor is Kyle Webster and anyone else in my way.
I'm Kyle Webster, bike number 96, and I ride for the Honda racing team. This year, I'm out to win the championship.
I'm Jar Roberts, bike number 100, and I ride for KTM Australia. My biggest competitor is everyone I'm lining up against.
Hey, I'm Reece Budd, number 22, riding for Yamaha Racing. This year, I'm looking to chase some podium results and looking to finish the season top 5. My biggest competitor is probably myself, but of course everyone else behind the gate, so looking forward to going racing.
So could we see a little bit of fire from Reece Budd out of the gate here? He needs to jump exceptionally well. It's going to be hard to go past Kyle Webster, or are we going to see him have to fight for this one for the first time? Time will tell. 5-second board up, Pirelli MX2.
Gates down. Who is going to launch out the best? Oh, it is tied at the inside. Again, exactly what we spoke of. Look at the big move around the outside. Couple of riders going down.
Reece Budd has got the whole shot from that's the whole shot gate handy. I'm telling you, for any of the MX1 riders watching these last 2 races, you need to get that starting position just to the right of the dog box.
Well, great launch out for that Yamaha, the 22, but already he has been relegated back a couple of places, pinched off into those ruts right there. At 96, the Kyle Webster machine sits there in second place at the moment. Who is he sitting in behind?
Ferguson?
It is Ferguson again.
Another sensational rider there. Nathan Crawford on his practice bikes right up there.
Roberts is also there.
Yes.
Larwood is mid-pack. He has a lot of work ahead of him. As the rest of the riders funnel their way through, back to the lead. Webster throws it sideways. Can he make the pass stick on this one?
Yes, he's up the inside, and he will make that stick. He'll control the inside of the next corner. And when you're riding with that kind of intensity and that kind of confidence, around the outside in the next corner he goes. And Noah Ferguson will slot straight up into second place. And like we mentioned earlier on, you need to throw a hook onto the back of our race leader and do whatever you can do to try to stick with him. Pick up some lines, try to figure out some smoothness.
As we take a quick look at this replay right now, have a look up the inside there and see who jumps out. Oh, the quickest man. There was a lot of action going through that first
rider
turn.
that's gone down. The front wheel just got swept out from underneath him.
Another one towards the back there. That was big moments for the riders through this first turn. As we jump back to the action now, we see there is Jay Wilson. He is also back a little bit in 6th place as we look at our 7 whole shot award, and it is awarded officially to Noah Ferguson on the 29 machine.
Yeah, great job there. We see the battle continues up ahead. Now, I don't think Kyle Webster really needs to be in too much of a rush here. You know, he knows he's the class of the field, and he knows the track still has a couple of little slippery spots here or there. He needs to just take his time and just methodically, little bit by little bit, start to pull away. Let the racing continue on behind him. Any battles that are going to erupt, there's not too many riders that I think have it in them to challenge Kyle Webster as far as brute speed goes for the full length of a 25-minute plus 1 lap race.
Number 6 machine, Jay Wilson on the outside of Jai Roberts, trying to make this pass right now. Jay had a good ride the first moto. He made a lot of passes and got up there to the pointy end, and I know that he'd like to be running up there with Webster. A much better round this time, a lot more comfortable this time Crawford in there in third place in the 199, but I'm really impressed with this right here by Ferguson in second place. What a tremendous start to the weekend after Moto 1 and now again in Moto number 2.
Yeah, fantastic job, and can't believe Reese Budd unfortunately has dropped back to 6th place there. Alex Larwood 7th. It's all going on as we speak. There's a great little battle. Jai Roberts up the inside.
Yeah, so it looked like Wilson had the pass made, but a small mistake just going into the corner allowed Roberts to get back up there and push back and make that pass back. So Roberts still holds down 5th place at the moment, or 4th place I should say at the moment, and Budd now starting to find form. Larwood, I mean, he was way back. I would have put him at least 20th on that first lap. So he has passed a lot of riders at the moment, and he is closing in on these guys.
Look at the calibre of 3rd and 4th place. Nathan Crawford, Jay Wilson, we're talking the same, maybe not in the same form as Kyle Webster at the moment, but we're talking the same calibre of rider. The type of rider that can keep their head together for a whole race and that can finish exceptionally strong.
Man, we're seeing even the best of them getting booted around coming into these corners. Big brave move right there by
touching of bikes.
Reese Budd, you are a brave man going around the outside of Jay Wilson like that, and that did not sit well with Wilson. He wanted to prove a point and get straight back around and put the pressure on him, but Budd, a sense of urgency right now. Nice square up. Not quite enough, though, to get back up the inside.
No, he's trying absolutely everything he can do to get past. We've got Larwood that's about to get into the mix as well. He wants to join the party. He's saying, look, this looks like a bit of fun up here. But remember what happened last time, Hammy, in the first race between Larwood and Reese Budd. They came together and went down hard. Are we potentially going to see a replay of that? These two need to be a little bit smarter. They're both young. They've both got the red mist in the goggles, the fire in the belly. They need to be a little bit smarter than that this time around.
Yes, mist in the goggles for sure at the moment. So waiting to see how this one pans out. Reed, what have you got down for us? Well, with
Alex Lowe, oh, sorry,
maybe this was a replay I missed. Here it is. This is the move we thought, but had the move made right there, but yeah, Wilson.
The bike's touching right there, you know. Now that's all well and good, no one went down, but what you got to be careful of when two 100+ kilo bikes touch each other, stuff can go wrong. And I mean, you can bend stuff up, you can dent in a pipe, you can do all kinds of stuff. All right, Rihanna, what do you got for us?
Yeah, the message to Kyle Webster from his mechanic is focus forward. Stop looking behind, keep your eyes forward.
Very important right now, and we can see him starting to drop off the back, and the call has been answered by Kyle Webster. He has just punched out a 138.7, so we thought that maybe he might not have been able to run away with this one. Maybe he was just starting this race at a slower pace and settling into a rhythm right now, finding his lines early, figuring out which is the best place to be on the track. But that 138 time, no one is even matching it.
Well, you've got to be in there for the long haul. And at the early stages of the race, that's what I said to you, Hammy. I said, no rush, Kyle. You just ease your way into the race. I don't think there's anyone that can go this pace with you. I don't think he expected Noah Ferguson to bump the pace up to the point of where he reeled him in. That gave him a little bit of a crack of the whip. But you know what? Sometimes when you're a rider that's as good as Kyle Webster, riding flat out is your best and safest pace. If you slow down and you start thinking, oh, I better ride conservative or whatever, all kinds of things can go wrong. So that could have been the best thing that happened for Kyle, was Noah to give him a little crack of the whip to up his pace a bit, and he's back into the race pace and the mental game that he needs to be at to be 100%.
Feels like we've been going for hours on this race. There's still 15 or 14 minutes left to go in this one, so we are a long way from being done. Nice line right there for Ferguson. Really smooth through that rut.
He's been very, very impressive, but going back to Nathan Crawford, I'm going to draw some parallels to what we've seen with Luke Clout and how he got a DNF at round 1 and how angry he was, and you can visually see the anger in their riding, and that's what we're seeing from Nathan Crawford at the moment. He hasn't had 3 weeks for that anger to fester and develop and to get even worse. He's only had a couple of hours since Moto 1 where he had to come back, push his bike back or walk back, and then consider how he was going to attack this. But I tell you what, he wants some redemption, and he wants to head out and try to leapfrog over the top of Noah Ferguson so he can start to battle with Kyle Webster.
Webster now into the lap traffic, clears them two with ease as the second and third place riders now start to find themselves right in the mix.
Nathan Crawford, that was a very unfortunate position to put himself in, and just got held up so badly with the lapped rider.
He'd be frustrated.
Devastating.
Very frustrated, but this is the one thing with motocross, you need to be on your game the entire time. You need to look ahead and pre-plan these things sometimes. You're not always going to know where a lapper goes, but you've got to do your best to try and anticipate where that lapped rider may go, because you can lose so much ground like we just saw after all that hard work that Crawford had done prior to that. He's got to do it all over again. And that pressure now has been taken off Ferguson. Ferguson can concentrate on his own race again.
Well, as we mentioned before with Kyle Webster, how he dropped the hammer and he did that 38, it's come back into its own a little bit, and both the boys on 1 minute 39. Well, for that fact, the top three, Kyle Webster, Noah Ferguson and Nathan Crawford, all in the 139s. So Kyle Webster, he stopped the bleeding in effect from where Noah Ferguson was reeling him in. However, he hasn't completely ripped the bandage off, shall we say. It is still well and truly up for grabs, this race. We've still got 12 minutes plus a lap, so we've got so much racing still to go. Brianna, I believe you've got an update for us.
Yeah, I've just seen Alex Larwood's bike being pushed through the mechanics area. I've just asked his mechanic, apparently he's done his shoulder, so super disappointing there.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that
did not see that.
We didn't see that. It would be...
he was pushing hard.
He was pushing
there.
so hard, so hard, letting it all hang out. And that is devastating news for the Yamaha rider. We mentioned earlier on a kid who is in such fine form at the moment. Last weekend in the South Australian State Championships, went 1-1 and beat Kyle Webster in both motos. That's how fast this guy was going, and he's such a young up-and-coming rider. But when you're young and up-and-coming, you're prepared to let it all hang out and put it all on the line. So any form of update or anything that we can get, thank you so much for that, Rihanna. Devastating news for the young South Australian.
Ricky Latimer on screen there on the number 4 machine. He is battling it out with Isaac Ferguson, who also had a great race in Moto number 1. So Ferguson, again, still having a good one. He's back there in 14th, a little bit further back than Moto number 1, but still a good battle going on right here. Latimer is working his way forward at the moment. We expect to see maybe just a little bit further up in the field than where he is right now, but still working very hard to make up that ground and try and get into that better position. Just behind this rider here is our next place riders of Crawford, who has made the pass up into second place now on Ferguson. So Crawford...
he's on a charge.
Yeah, he's on a charge. Lap time slowed down just a little bit that time around, but Crawford now has moved himself up one more place.
Yeah, so the fastest lap time that previous lap was Kyle Webster with a 139.5. Nathan Crawford now up into second place with a 140.0. So only half a second off Kyle Webster's. It'll be interesting now to see from two aspects what's going to happen to Nathan Crawford's lap time.
Yes.
First of all, he's got clear air ahead of him. Second of all, if you're ever going to make a charge and try to get into the head of the leader, it's when you straight away step up into that second place, because I guarantee you the pit board coming out for Kyle Webster will say Crawford second now.
Ferguson has not let go of that position at the moment, still in third as they make their way through a few more lapped riders. 49 just there in front of them. Caleb Gollett, sorry, he has looked back and seen our riders coming through, so good on him for moving just across a little bit, so create some free space for our riders to get through and continue their race in second and third. And it's going to be interesting this lap around. This could be a bit of a determining factor for the rest of this race. I think if Crawford can answer the call with a fast lap time, we may see a bit of a charge towards the lead, whether he can make it. We've only got 6 minutes left. That's a pretty tall order to do, but there's always that possibility. So let's have a look at the lap time when he goes around. We'll let you know and see if there's any chance that he may be able to get up there.
Well, there's 6 minutes to go, and there's just over 5 second gap between Kyle Webster and Nathan Crawford. So all it's going to take is the slightest little change in momentum between the two, and we could see anything happen in the latter stages of the race. One thing I can guarantee you is Kyle Webster won't roll over near the end stage. There's no way. In fact, sometimes I think he'd prefer to be in some kind of a battle rather than riding by himself. He's that much of a warrior. But let's keep our eyes peeled on the lap times here. Well, there we go. Our latest lap time, Kyle Webster, 1:39.9, and a Nathan Crawford, a 1:39.6. So only 0.3 of a second. But hey, 0.3 is 0.3, and we'll take it.
Webster through the auto light turn, just there past the mechanics area and through Pirelli. He is really looking comfortable at the moment, still working his way through these lapped riders.
Yeah, and it's coming past them thick and fast around the bell left-hander, and they're really coming past lap riders just like it's no problem whatsoever. But I guess that's something you need to do when you're a champion. You need to be able to pick your way past these riders, no problem whatsoever.
Open air at the moment for Webster, so he should be able to set down a pretty quick lap time. Matched that time around by Nathan Crawford, only 1/10 between them. Crawford being the slower of the two, but they're still running at a very, very quick pace. The riders behind them, 2 seconds slower.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Kyle needed to do. We're talking the 0.1s of a second. They sound like nothing when you're talking 1 minute 39 over a full lap. 0.1 sounds like nothing. However, when you're talking the gap between these two, between Kyle Webster and Nathan Crawford, it means that Kyle is managing that 5 second gap. It's staying the same. Each and every lap it's staying the same, because when it gets down to 4 to 3, all of a sudden you've got a battle on your hands.
Webster again through the opening turn, now looking to a clean sweep of the day again. That Honda working well underneath him as they go through these tight switchback turns. Webster has not put a foot wrong in either of these races. He has managed the lead, as Lee said, more times than not. As we just look back towards our second place rider, you can see the Circo Yamaha mechanic putting out the board. A quick look behind there by the 84 of Jordan Holt. You can see that Crawford is catching up behind him to put that lap down. You can just catch it in the background there. There is Webster. He has still got that lead, and quite a considerable lead, 6 seconds out.
Sorry, Hammy, I just want to make mention quickly, Jesse Dobson, straight out of hospital with the broken collarbone and the plate on there. He's just dropped a 1:39 on that last lap. The only other rider to have got that is the first two. And just as I say that, Noah Ferguson gets a 1:38.315. That's the fastest lap of the whole race.
Wow, it is at this point of the race. Wow, that is, we could see a second and third battle in it.
And here's me questioning whether we could see Noah Ferguson's fitness last to the end of the race when he drops the fastest time of everyone with 2 minutes to go in the race.
Give yourself an uppercut there, Hogan.
I deserve it. You can give me one.
Well, he's definitely proving that he is going to be pushing it towards the end of this one. Absolutely flying at the moment. I'm really pumped for him at the moment. I hope he can continue this pace, because if he can get up there a little bit closer, he is 2.6 seconds down at the moment on Crawford as they go through a few more lapped riders. Nice smooth line. He had that one earlier on, and maybe that's the difference. He has found all these lines that are just easy to ride right now.
That's the trait of a seasoned veteran, to be able to, on the fly, change your lines up and find better lines mid-race, especially near the end of the race, as these bumpy ruts start to deteriorate and become more and more difficult. To be able to pick a good line is really quite difficult to do.
That jersey's flapping in the breeze. He is really pushing it all the way to the end of this one. 1 minute, 40 seconds left to go. Our lead rider would have just gone over the finish line, so we are looking at a potential 3 more laps depending on when he comes across the line. And just as we say it, look at those lap times. Wow.
Wow, both our leaders, Kyle Webster and Nathan Crawford, just both dropped down into the 138 and a 138.56, a new fastest lap time for this race.
Really flying along these first two. It's like someone told the lead riders that, hey, you're no longer the fastest on track, and they've just stepped it back up. There is Ferguson on the 29 machine, still running around there. His last lap time was well and truly off the pace. He did have to deal with a lot of lap riders. That's the difference too. You get into a lap rider and you make one incorrect line choice, you can lose so much when you get in behind them. So still battling his way through here. Still a good lead at the moment for our leader of Kyle Webster on the 96.
Yeah, he's just edged it out to 5.9, basically 6 seconds. And then we must have seen a little bit of a mistake from Noah Ferguson because he's dropped it back to 12 seconds back. So a 1:42 in the last lap for Noah Ferguson will do that to you, that's for sure. But the battle continues between Reece Budd and Jay Wilson for 4th and 5th place. They haven't been any more than 1 second apart for this whole race.
There's Dylan Wills and that also having a battle. Wills on the 64 machine, having a pretty good ride again this weekend, 13th at the moment. The Husky rider getting around pretty smoothly at the moment. He is in there behind the 46 machine as well of Hugh McKay.
Yeah, great job from Hugh McKay there. Not a bad ride whatsoever. Can't speak highly enough for Jesse Dobson. He's done an incredible job just to even be able to get here and race.
He is on the back wheel. He's, according to our time, he just passed Jay Wilson. I would love to see that. Those boys are really pushing it at the moment. As we see 188 of Ravenhorse just going through the screen right here. There is Ravenhorse just having a good run. Will's still there on the 64, going through the bottom part of this track. As we are getting to the very end of this race, 2 laps to go. Will's right around the outside. Nice move there to gain himself a couple more places. See the 196 again.
I can't speak highly enough of the track and the preparation that these guys have done. The ruts that we're seeing out here, how moist the track has stayed with the sunshine, a little bit of wind, but just sunshine and a fair bit of warmth for Canberra. It's been spectacular weather conditions, really quite nice for the spectators, but this is the kind of weather that makes the track dry out and get dusty very quickly. So such an incredible job done by the crew that have prepped this track for the National Championships. It's been amazing.
Latimer's still back there in behind these guys. Oh, look at the size of the puddle down there. There's a sprinkler or something that's blown out and completely put the water over. Here is Yamaha riders are still one of the same little group there as we are on the last lap now. So we really should be looking to see if we can see where our lead rider is at the moment. He will be coming towards the finish line relatively soon, I would assume, and looking to take yet another win on that Honda bike that has done so much for him so far. Just a few more riders heading through there. That was the 241 there of Tyler Darby. And it looks like a Yamaha going back there. That could have been one of our Serco bikes possibly in the background, but just keeping an eye out for our lead riders as they come through this last part of the track.
And we must be only moments away now from Kyle Webster on the last lap. And there he is. He's on screen now. That red plate looking exceptionally clean as it should out the head of the pack.
And safe on that bike.
Have you ever seen a rider in such fine form and start a season quite as strong as this? It's been such a long time since I've seen someone come in this strong.
Yeah, dominate the way he has. It's really something that we don't generally see. There's always a mix-up, isn't there, of at least each race on the day. Maybe an overall, but at least each race of the day. And you
Look
can
at
see
how
the
excited he is with the double fist pump down on the handlebars, and well deserved it too as he comes through the 100% corner and he comes around. Nice little wheelie, and that is how you dominate. 2 from 2, double victory here today in Canberra, and 4 from 4 in the championship, undefeated. absolute domination from the Western Australian Kyle Webster and the factory Honda rider. Amazing job. There's Nathan Crawford there coming through with a solid second placing on board his practice bike on the Serco Yamaha. What a great job from those two boys, but cannot say enough about Kyle Webster and his start to the season. Kyle Webster with a solid victory from Nathan Crawford. Noah Ferguson back there in third place. Reese Budd, an incredible fourth place. Jesse Dobson, very tough job there in fifth place, straight out of hospital. Jay Wilson, Jace Cosford, Corey McMahon, Jai Roberts and Dylan Wills rounding out the top 10.
Well, we've seen an amazing race. Let's get down to the podium with Rihanna.
Yeah, congratulations to our podium place skaters for the Pirelli MX2 Championship. In third place, Noah Ferguson. Noah, you got the whole shots and you got 2 podiums today. Really solid day.
Yeah, it's a heaps better day today. Felt good on the bike. The boys kept me on my toes though, so it's good to be on the box, so I'm pumped.
Yeah, congratulations, Noah Ferguson taking out second place on the Serco Yamaha. Nathan Crawford, really disappointing way to start the day, but fantastic to finish on the podium.
Yeah, it's a really tough pill to swallow. It's happened to me a few times and it doesn't get any easier. It's almost worse that I'm happy I got a good result there in the end, but it just you know, what could have been today, you know. I lost a lot of points in the championship when you have a DNF like that. Webster's obviously riding awesome. He went 1-1 today, so he maximised his points. And yeah, it's just a really disappointing day. I am happy though that I did finish it on a good note, but still just a tough pill to swallow. Yeah,
I can certainly sense your frustrations. Congratulations on your second place and taking out double victory today once again, Kyle Webster. You're unstoppable at the moment, Kyle.
Thank you. Yeah, it was an awesome day for us again. Yeah, honestly, that second moto, just had to try and manage the track as much as possible. It was definitely gnarly. So, yeah, I felt like we did that well. I didn't go too far out of my comfort zone, and obviously the boys are pretty close there. So it was good. It was a good race, and I'm happy with that one.
Could you feel the boys breathing down your neck there? Nathan Crawford was certainly getting close.
Yeah, definitely. I could feel them right there, and I could hear them as well. And then obviously the boys on the pit board were giving me signals, so I sort of knew where everybody was at, and it was hard to sort of risk it to try and make that gap or just maintain where you are. So I just yeah, rode a little bit safe, but it paid off in the end.
Congratulations on another epic day. Our podium place getters for the Pirelli MX2 Championship, Noah Ferguson, Nathan Crawford and Kyle Webster.
Well, great job from those three boys right there. And Kyle Webster doesn't even look like he's got a sweat up, Danny Ham. Let's have a look at the championship points. Kyle Webster unbeaten with a maximum of 100 points. Great job. Reese Budd in second place. Wow, that is amazing job for the young rookie on the Yamaha, 69 points. Jesse Dobson rounding out the top three, Danny Ham.
Well, we're going to head it straight back down to Lee and Rihanna, and they're going to talk about the rest of this day. Lee and Rihanna, what a day of racing it's been.
Next round, we head to Gilman, South Australia. Yeah. Before we get there, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Gilman. It's a great track, and one person comes to mind, and I'm thinking Brett Metcalf. All right, he didn't have the best of days today. It's his home track, his home state. He'll have a lot of fans there, and he's going to want to make amends and try to do something really well. Yeah,
very much looking forward to that round 3 for the Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores at Gilman, South Australia on the 30th of May. Plenty of action from Motorcycling Australia to keep up to date. Stay on the Facebook and Instagram pages for all of your details on Oz Pro MX. Thank you very much, Lee. Thanks, Danny, for all of your hard work. We look forward to bringing you all the action from Gilman, South Australia.